that going forward, that's good data for Tate to look at, something that he can, you know,
you're doing so good.
I know!
Oh, this was all his fault.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, he's just trying to hide it, you know. Soft gravel. That's good. All right, go.
So we have one of Garrett Niss's mini projects with us today. We are doing a set of compounds on it. It's a relative small set of turbos. It's a 68 on the manifold and an 80 out front. So pretty much he got a new engine because this one currently had rods hanging out of it when it came. So we just put a pretty much factory engine back in it, put some, I think, rods in it and small other things like that. And yeah, so we're gonna get some turbos fobbed up with it. These late third gen trucks, non-emissions equipped, just have a couple small details that are different than the 06 trucks. So we're gonna get some things figured out and hopefully get out here this week.
We have Nick Morris's 2005 truck here on the dyno. It actually has a CMB849 standalone harness that is piggybacked onto the 848 ECM. So we're actually tuning it with EFI Live. He has 250% injectors, a 14 mil CP3, and we are doing some turbo testing with one of Taterbilt's new 7475 turbos. It has I believe it has an S300 center section along with turbo shaft, and I believe maybe even has an S300 exhaust housing. But we started the day at 740 horsepower, making roughly 48 PSI, 46 PSI, somewhere in there. And throughout the day, it didn't really matter if we threw more fuel at it, or didn't really matter what we did. It didn't pick up more than about 770 horsepower. We thought about 50 PSI, you know, we might be pushing it, but Tate really wanted us to crank the wastegate to see how hard we can push it. And so we just went slowly at a time, or slowly 1 or 2 turns at a time. I believe each turn we picked up about 2 PSI. And we went from 770 horsepower up to 818 horsepower by picking up 2 PSI. We adjusted it again. We made 835 horsepower from 818 with another 2 PSI. And I got tired of doing little increments at a time, so I turned the wastegate rod in 2.5 turns instead of a turn and a half. And we went from 835 to 883. So, you know, at this point we are about 55 PSI, if I remember correctly. So we're making really good progress. We ended the day at 61 PSI, 61 PSI, and 933 horsepower. That was really, we tried different fuel quantities as far as throwing more fuel at it or less fuel, and less fuel actually made more power. We ended up finding the sweet spot, and 933 was all that we could get out of it. But that's good data for Tate that he can analyze and grow from and try to make the product better. So I will get him off the dyno and send him on his way.
What's wrong, buddy? You get it stuck again for the second day in a row?
You got it stuck yesterday.
Wow. 2 days in a row, Nick. What do you got to say about that, buddy?